Story 1. Antigone and the Law of the Heart. In the city of Thebes, after a war that had torn a royal family apart, a new ruler rose to power. His name was Creon. He sought to restore order, to rebuild authority, to make it clear that the state would stand above all else. But order built on fear often demands obedience without question. And it was this demand that set the stage for one of the most enduring acts of resolve in Greek myth. Two brothers, Eteocles and Polynices, had fought against each other for the throne. Both died in battle. Creon declared that Eteocles, who defended the city, would be honored, but Polynices, who attacked it, would be left unburied. His body would remain exposed, a warning, a punishment, a statement of power. In Greek belief, burial rites were sacred. Without them, the soul could not find rest. To deny burial was to deny dignity, to deny passage, to deny peace. Creon's decree was clear. No one was to bury Polynices. Anyone who disobeyed would be executed. But there was one who could not accept this. Antigone, sister to both fallen brothers. She understood the law of the state, but she also understood something deeper, the law of the gods, the law of what is right beyond human authority. To her, honoring the deed was not optional. It was sacred, it was necessary, even if it meant defying the king. Antigone made her decision not in anger, not in rebellion for its own sake, but in clarity. She would bury her brother, even if it cost her life. Under the cover of night, she went to where Polynices' body lay. Alone, exposed, she performed the simplest of rites. A handful of dust, a gesture of respect, a recognition of his humanity. It was enough, but it was also forbidden. She was discovered, brought before Creon and questioned. He expected denial, excuses, fear, but Antigone did not waver. She spoke plainly. She had done it, and she would do it again. Creon warned her of the consequence, death, but Antigone did not retreat. For her, the choice had already been made. She would not live by betraying what she knew to be right, even if it meant dying for it. Creon ordered her punishment. She was sealed within a tomb, left to face death alone. But the consequences of his decision did not end there. Warnings came from prophets, from those who saw that the balance had been broken. Creon began to doubt. Too late. When he finally sought to undo his command, the damage had already been done. Antigone was gone, and with her, others would follow. Loss spread through the house of Creon, not because of chaos, but because of refusal to listen. Antigone's story was never meant to be simple. It was not a tale of victory. It was a tale of resolve, of standing firm when the world demands compromise, of choosing what is right even when the cost is everything. For resolve is not loud, it is not always celebrated, but it is unshakable, and once it is chosen, does not turn back. Story 2. Sita in the Fire of Truth. In the ancient epic of the Ramayana, there's a figure whose strength is not loud, yet unbreakable. Her name is Sita. She is often remembered as the wife of Rama, the prince and hero of the epic. But her story is not one of dependence. It is one of endurance, of dignity, of unwavering resolve in the face of doubt. Sita was said to have been born of the earth itself, discovered in a field by King Janaka. From the beginning, she was seen as pure, grounded, and deeply connected to the natural world. When she came of age, she chose Rama as her husband, recognizing in him a balance of strength and righteousness. Their union was not simply political. It was aligned, purposeful, but their path was not one of ease. Rama was exiled from his kingdom for 14 years, and Sita chose to go with him into the forest. She did not hesitate. She did not remain behind in comfort. She chose the path beside him. This choice would lead her into one of the most defining trials of her life. While living in the forest, Sita was taken by the demon king Ravana, ruler of Lanka. He carried her across the sea to his island kingdom, where he tried to persuade her to become his queen. But Sita refused, not with anger, not with fear, but with certainty. She would not abandon who she was. She would not betray her truth. She remained in captivity, surrounded by pressure, persuasion, and threat. Yet she did not yield. She held her ground in silence, in presence, in knowing. Eventually, Rama and his allies crossed into Lanka and defeated Ravana in battle. Sita was freed, but the trial was not over. For when she returned, doubt had taken root, whispers, questions. Had she remained faithful during her captivity? Had she remained pure? Rama, bound by his duty to his people, did not dismiss these doubts outright. Instead, he asked Sita to prove her purity. This moment has echoed through generations, for it was not the forest, not the captivity, but this request had become Sita's deepest test. She did not argue, she did not plead, she chose again. With calm resolve, she stepped forward and called upon the sacred fire, known as Agni. She declared that if she had remained true in her heart and spirit, the fire would not harm her. Then she entered it. Flames rose around her. The air stilled, but the fire did not consume her. Instead, Agni himself emerged, carrying Sita unharmed. Her truth had been revealed, not through words, but through action, through willingness, through the strength to stand within the fire of judgment and not be broken. And yet, even after this moment, Sita's story continued to unfold with further trials. But it is this moment that remains central, not because she was questioned, but because of how she responded. She did not allow doubt to define her. She did not bend under pressure. She stood, quietly, completely, and allowed truth to speak through her. In this, Sita becomes more than a figure of loyalty. She becomes a symbol of inner strength, of knowing who you are, even when the world questions it. For resolve is not always force. Sometimes it is stillness. Sometimes it is the ability to endure without losing oneself. And sometimes it is the courage to step into the fire and remain unchanged. Story 3, Penelope and the Quiet Strength of Waiting. While heroes fought wars and crossed oceans, there were others whose strength was less visible, but no less powerful. In the kingdom of Ithaca, there lived a queen named Penelope. She was the wife of Odysseus, the great hero of the Trojan War. When Odysseus left for battle, Penelope remained behind. What was meant to be a short absence became years, then more years, 10 years of war, and then 10 more years of wandering. 20 years in total. During this time, no word came, no certainty, no proof that Odysseus would return. To many, he was already gone, but Penelope did not accept this. She held to the belief that he still lived, that he would find his way back, but the world around her did not remain still. Men from surrounding regions came to Ithaca, suitors. They filled her home, consumed her resources, and demanded that she chose a new husband. To them, Odysseus was dead, and Penelope's refusal was unreasonable. They pressed her day after day, year after year. But Penelope did not give in. She did not resist with force. She resisted with resolve. She devised a plan. She told the suitors that she would choose a husband when she had finished weaving a burial shroud for Odysseus's father, Laertes. Each day she worked at the loom. Thread by thread, pattern by pattern, the suitors watched. They waited. But each night when the hall grew quiet and no one remained to see, Penelope returned to the loom. And she unraveled what she had woven, undoing the day's work, reversing progress, holding time and place. This continued for years. Her strategy was not about deception alone. It was about control, about refusing to be forced into a decision that betrayed her truth. Eventually, her secret was discovered. The suitors grew impatient. The pressure intensified. She could no longer delay, and still, she did not yield easily. She called for a final test, a contest of skill. Only the men who could string Odysseus's bow and send an arrow cleanly through 12 axe heads would win her hand. Many tried, none succeeded, for the bow required strength and familiarity that only one man possessed. At last, a stranger stepped forward, a man disguised, worn by travel. He strung the bow with ease, released the arrow, and revealed himself. Odysseus had returned. Penelope's long wait had not been in vain. Resolve had held. Her story is not one of battle or conquest. It is one of endurance, of choosing to remain steady when everything around you demands movement, of trusting what cannot yet be seen. Penelope did not fight with weapons, she fought with patience, with intelligence, with unwavering clarity. And in doing so, she preserved her truth across 20 years of uncertainty. For resolve is not always action. Sometimes it is a refusal to act until the moment is right. And that, too, is strength. Story 4. Queen Nzinga and the Fire of Defiance. In the lands of Central Africa, where kingdoms rose with strength and sovereignty, there lived a ruler whose resolve would become legend. Her name was Nzinga Mbande. She was born into the royal family of the kingdom of Ndango in the late 16th century, during a time when Portuguese forces sought to dominate the region through trade, warfare, and enslavement. From an early age, Nzinga showed intelligence, strategy, and an unshakable sense of dignity. She observed how power moved, how words could shape outcomes, how strength was not always in the sword, but in presence. When her brother, the king, ruled Ndango, conflict with the Portuguese intensified. Negotiations became necessary, and Nzinga was chosen to represent her people. When she arrived to meet the Portuguese governor, she entered a room designed to diminish her. There was no chair for her, only one for the governor. A silent message. You are beneath us. But Nzinga did not accept this. Without hesitation, she signaled to one of her attendants. The woman knelt, and Nzinga sat upon her back, raising herself to equal height with the governor. In that moment, she redefined the space. She did not demand respect. She embodied it. Negotiations proceeded, treaties were made, but peace did not last. After her brother's death, Nzinga rose to power, and with that rise came resistance. She refused to allow her people to be controlled or enslaved. She led armies, forged alliances, adapted strategies. At times, she used diplomacy, at times, warfare. She even relocated her power base, becoming queen of the neighboring kingdom of Matamba, where she rebuilt strength and continued her resistance. For decades, she stood against colonial forces, not without hardship, not without loss, but without surrender. Nzinga understood something many do not. Resolve is not rigid. It is adaptable. It shifts when needed. It bends without breaking. She changed tactics when circumstances demanded it. She negotiated when necessary, fought when required, survived when others would have fallen. Her story is not one of a single victory. It is one of sustained resistance, of choosing again and again not to yield, even when the world sought to reshape her people's future without her consent. Nzinga held her ground, not just for herself, but for her kingdom, for her legacy, for the right to exist on her own terms. And in doing so, she became more than a queen. She became a symbol of defiance, of intelligence, of enduring strength. For resolve is not only about enduring fear, it is about acting despite it, standing despite it, leading through it, and refusing to disappear when pressure demands it.